or the alleged text message, and the fact that this girl is dead. But you see the article, it says Virginia teen dies after summoning ancient Haitian voodoo god Papa Legba. Now Papa Legba is a crossroad demon. I refer to him as a crossroad demon. Now there's many people that claim, black people, that have claimed to have seen or witnessed this so-called Papa Legba. I'm not doubting them that they saw something, because I did a video in the past of when I was a child, in my childhood, and I talked about where this man appeared to me. I couldn't have been no more, I was a child, probably about 7 or 8, maybe 9. And this guy appeared to me, this head hovering over my bed. And the description I had given was a black man, very dark skinned, and he had on a black hat. And he was questioning me about my father. Now, my brother and myself, we both saw the same image. I never put a name to that, because I had no name to put to that. I never referred to that as a dead ancestor or Papa Legba or what have you, but in my research throughout my life, the description that I saw as a child was the same description as Papa Legba. So I'm not going to say that was what I saw, but this man appeared to me because my father was into that voodoo mess. He was into that. I have family members on my father's side that was into that. Alright, so was it Papa Legba I saw? I don't know. I don't put a name to it. But according to this article, this white girl, now it's quite rare for a white person to be trying to summon Papa Legba. Now, I'm not going to say it had not happened. I'm sure that there's a lot of white people that have done that, and they have made an attempt to do that. But after reading this article, this girl got what she deserves. And I'm going to put a link to that article on the bottom, and you can check it out for yourself. I'm going to put it in its entirety. I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm just going to read bits and pieces, and I'm going to put the article on the bottom for you to read for yourself. But I made a video in the past about how people need to stop tampering and dabbling into things that you really don't understand, especially if it's things that you fear, because fear only feeds the unseen, the darkness. Fear feeds that. Even if you're in an environment where they're casting out, it's not good for you type of environment, and you're fearful because you now put yourself in grave danger of being either attacked or possessed. And maybe I'll get more into that in another video. But you have to really be mindful of what you open yourself up to when you're dealing with the unseen realm. Now, the article reads, the recent death of a Virginia teen has been was found dead after she allegedly drowned in a bathtub, according to posts on social media from her friends. See, this is where it gets a little cloudy, because it's not coming from mainstream media. It's coming from posts on social media from her so-called friends. Now, Winston's unexpected death came just 2 days after she claimed to have seen Papa Legba, apparently after a summoning spell. People warned her not to try. Now, let me stop right there for a moment. This girl drowned allegedly in a bathtub. What does that remind you of? It reminds you of Whitney Houston. She drowned mysteriously in a bathtub when, after living her life for the devil, she now decides to want to turn back to the church. And then she ended up losing her life, drowning to death in the bathtub. Now, this girl was warned, allegedly, by other people not to try that. Now, after reading about this girl's response, I have no sympathies for this person, because it reminds me of so many other adults that take the same stance that this female took. But it says, Papa Legba is a Loa, which are spirits of Haitian voodoo and Louisiana voodoo. Legba represents a West African and Caribbean voodoo god, and has many different names depending on the region in which he's worshipped, though he's most commonly known in Haiti as Papa Legba. Then it says, according to description of Papa Legba from Wikipedia, Legba stands at a spiritual crossroads and gives or denies permission to speak with spirits of, and is believed to speak all human languages. Papa Legba was famously depicted in 2013's American Horror Story, COVID, Season 3, as a crossroad demon, and the character was portrayed by Lance Reddick. The character briefly returned in 2018's American Horror Story, Apocalypse. Now, again, like I said, there's many images I've seen of the so-called Papa Legba. This is the one that's most notable on the internet. But I've seen other images where his face was a skull. So, nobody really knows what the real image is, except for the person that see it. Now, again, when this man appeared to me and the brother saw the same thing when I was looking. And the image I saw was a dark-skinned man, older man, with a black hat on. Now, was that Papa Legba? I don't know. Like I said, I never put a face or a name to it. I'm just saying the spirit appeared, right? As in this. And what I'm gonna make a video and share. I'll put it on my Dream channel. If you subscribe, go to my Dream channel and subscribe. I'm gonna start sharing some stories of things that I've seen coming up as a child. And it's ironic because I was just talking to someone, and she was telling me about a friend of hers that was telling her about something that she saw laying on her sofa. And the description she gave, the minute she started giving the description, my eyes lit up, because that was the same thing I saw as a child, man, that scared the life out of me. This was back when Michael Jackson or the Jackson 5 made their appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show that night. And my mother, she hit her head on the sofa, hit her leg on the sofa, trying to get in there to see what's wrong with me, because I woke up screaming and yelling. But the same description this woman had given was the same description of what I saw as a child. Now, was that some type of ancestral spirit, as some people people may claim, I don't know. I just know that the description is the same thing I saw. So that confirms to me that this entity exists, not just in my world, but in the world of someone else. So when it comes to tampering in the things of the unseen, don't do it. I made a video warning people not to do that. And see, if this happened, was in this article, then she got what she deserved, and many other people. And it may not come in the form of death. You may end up losing your mind, or it may affect maybe a family member or a child. Because there's cases where people have put or set voodoo traps for people, and someone else got in the way, another family member got in the way, or a child got in the way of something that was set down for someone else. So you can put something in someone's path, and someone else may.
Let me interrupt right quick. What he's saying is, now you know what he's saying. If you're not saved, you ain't get covered with the blood of Jesus, you're in trouble. And so, if you are a person as a believer, you're covered. But if you got a cover, you got a pastor to cover you. I had a situation. I'm gonna show you guys something. And I showed my pastor this. I'll get back to you in the morning. You gotta be very careful who you deal with. I took a picture of this image. Now, luckily, I have pastors from Africa. There are people that come from overseas. This image is called, if you can see it, hold on. Someone sent this to me. Want to be friendly at Facebook. This is a West African doll. It's called Black Man. It's an idol. People in the spiritual systems in African deal with idols like this. I guess I got that sense in me. Here's some other images. Come from out of West Africa. These are images. I show my pastor this. If you ever have something like this in your home, you've got to be careful and do your background check on these. But interrupt and share story. This person tried to be my Facebook friend. Leave it to say, when I saw this, no. This is dealing with something in a whole different realm. Anybody that deals with something like this, it's not good. Because, like he said, it's a spiritual war. And if you don't know, you watch, you gotta be involved with it. Go back to the story.
The destruction from that. Alright, so it's a dangerous thing to tamper into things of the unseen. Now this is the alleged text message, right? And it says, I just want to take the moment to say rest in peace, Kate Riston. I just did a reading on her, and I asked Papa Legba, was that him? And he said, nah, it was Baron. And then he think in my head, y'all have to be careful what y'all tap into. This is a white dude saying this. And then this one Kate Riston says, I seen Papa Legba today, and I'm scared. But see, it's interesting because when people, especially if you have young children, because children are more open to the unseen realm. naturally. Okay? So if you have a child that come into this world with some type of gift, especially if they have a spiritual gift of discernment, where they're able to pick up on spirits and things that's unseen to you, don't be quick to dismiss that. If your child comes and tell you that they've seen something in your house, don't dismiss that. Don't be afraid, but don't dismiss it. Always put that in the back of your head. And that's one good thing I can say about my family, my mother, is that many nights as a child I woke up screaming from what I saw.
And I was never disciplined for that, because you have some parents that would try to beat the fear out of their kids. They try to make their child believe that it's not real, you just had a dream, right? You should never do that, right? Because then it's almost like you're aiding and abetting these demons or these spirits that is raiding your house.
They're real too.
So, or trespassing in your home. So never take the side of an unclean spirit.
Never.
So if your child claims to have nightmares, or they see things, or they're afraid to go in their own bed and go to sleep, don't torment them by making them sleep there. You know, some parents just say, well, just turn on the light and don't be afraid. No, allow that child to come and get in your bed. There's nothing wrong with that. Allow that child to lay in your bed, or make a pallet on the floor for your child to lay on if the child isn't of a certain age. But don't always be ready to dismiss what your child see as being superstitious, or it's just a movie that you watched, or so I gotta cut out what you watch on television, or I gotta cut out what you eat before you go to bed. That's all nonsense, right? Because you had people that didn't believe her. They didn't believe her, right? Until her death. Now, I spoke on in the video of the past where when it comes to Enochian magic, there was a guy that wrote this book. I have the book, Enochian Magic, and the guy, he actually lost his life. And there's other people like him that start dealing with watchtower angels. They learn their angelic names and language and like that, and you don't realize that when you learn angelic language and the names of angelic beings, you actually, sometimes you, even when it comes to your thoughts, you know, because people say you have to be careful what you say. This time you have to be careful of what you think, because your thoughts could call certain entities forward without you even being aware. So just knowing certain information is dangerous. See, and the Bible tells us to touch not, handle not. Don't mess with that. Stay away from it, right? Because you, with your finite mind, have no idea of the consequences that it could bring upon you and your family, right? So there's people that you tell stories to, and you got to be careful who you share information with. They're going to think you're crazy, especially in this time that we're living in today.
Yes.
And the spirit realm is constantly making itself known.
Yes.
Even when we deal with politicians,
yes,
they're making themselves known. Not so much as by what they say, but watch their actions.
Yes.
Right? So this girl, she told people that she saw him and they didn't believe her. And she said, I'm scared. And see, when you're afraid, when you start tampering into the unseen realm and you become fearful, now you become food for them. You actually become food for them. And I'm going to read a small portion of this, but this is part of this I want to read, where I felt that she deserved what she got. 3 weeks later, Kate posted on April 17 that she'd seen Papa Legba and was scared. 2 days later, she passed away unexpectedly in her mother's home, according to her obituary, which also notes that she was a proud new mom and adored her baby, Aaliyah. Reverend and Messer, they always try to set up a GoFundMe. Anyway, I'm not even going to deal with the GoFundMe issue. But I'm going to go down to what she allegedly said. Right? Where is that? Okay, it's in the other article that I read where she actually told people that that she's gonna believe what she wanna believe. Okay, here it goes. When people warned her not to play around with that stuff, she clapped back on Twitter saying that there's nothing wrong with trying something new. Now, this is the mindset of a lot of so-called millennials nowadays, right? There's nothing wrong with trying something new, right? And then it says, in quotes, let people live and have their own religion, she wrote in a post dated March 29th. And then in quotes it says, if someone is into something different, accept that. Stop saying no, you come from God. And then she says, I'm wicked, and I always will be, so shut the F up and let me be. So that right there, she got what she deserved. So now, they let her be, and they talking about the girl in this.
The information she talks about mysteries and things like that. She calls herself Queen Shakora, Queen Shakora, and she tells the same story that this guy has talked about. She said on a recent, I watched the video, I probably saved it, when she talked about it
a man with the black hat that people were seeing, and it was very, 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 very make you get goosebumps. People, you gotta. He's right. You gotta watch what you get into. You have to really do, because once you do that, you give your soul over to something. That's why you see these people trying to go back, trying to tap into something, and they don't know what they're tapping into. Because whatever spirit you call upon, he's right. They will follow you, and they would drive you insane. I had a situation when I was young, 19, experimenting with something with the supernatural. And one of the things I did it was one of the most ultimate ones that you do not do. Do not, what I'm about to tell you, do not, for whatever reason, because they ain't a lot of bookstores, do not get no Ouija boards. Tarot cards, Ouija boards, don't do it. Don't do it. Because they have made a couple movies about that. How some people, they almost lost their mind. Some people almost got possessed. So they made it, and that stuff is real. It's that when you do something for a certain amount of time, like this young lady did, something's going to appear. It's going to appear in your house or appear around you. And then, but if you have a covering, if you, let's say you was a Christian, and somebody, it may not directly attack you, but it might attack someone who's not covered. And they go after, and these spirits go after innocent people. Whether they don't care if they're old, they don't care if they're young, they don't care if they're a baby, they don't care if they're a puppy dog or cat. They were tormented. That's what these spirits do. So, like he said, getting the Wicca, no offense to people that's in Wicca, but he's telling the truth. Because you don't know what kind of spirit you're going to get out. And all these, people want devil and warlock or anything. Be careful, because this stuff is real. The spiritual realm is our natural realm in the time we are in, as I'm communicating to you through this camera. It's real. It is very, very real. And I just feel led. So if you anybody doing something like that, please stop, because you can lose your mind, or you can lose your life, and it can cause you to take your life. So I wanted to make a video, but I'm gonna show you this lady's face right quick. She talks about that stuff. If I can get to her channel, she.
But hello everyone.
But I want to show you this woman. She tells stories about this. This is the woman. She tells more stories about supernatural events, and her name is Queen Obadiah Shakur TV show. She has what they gotta say. She's story.
On her dream channel, I think she has a dream channel, goes to mysterious things, hauntings, and
she has a story about something, the same thing I showed you. It's about this some figure, excuse me, with a black hat, and it's a man with the dark jacket and the black hat. She just got, I was watching the video. She said the same thing. This video, this video was about a year and a half ago, and this video is about a year and a half ago. This young lady passed away, and when she seen this image, but she had come across probably something with the same description. Like I said, it's very, very real. I want to improvise that. It's very, very real. Don't let nobody tell you. It's nothing to play with. Being with the spirit world, it does not play. You do not want to mess with something that look like this. Do not do what this young lady did.
You don't know what you're dealing with. If you're not covered, if you don't have a good prayer life,
Something like that can show up at your door. And it's real. And I advise you, don't mess with the supernatural. Do not mess with something like this. Like I said, I one time, you ever seen the movie The Exorcist? This is what happened to me personally. And you know the one scene when the priest, they finally get whatever come up out of her, and then at the end of the movie, if I can, and at the end of the movie, let me show you something. I'm going to show you this.
change something like this, but maybe this would really, really, really open up some people's eyes.
No, sometimes I don't think some people are like, oh, that's just, no. I'm going to show you something.
Okay, I'm gonna show you something.
I'm going to show you something right here. This ain't it, this ain't it, this ain't it. I'm going to show you something. There was something in the movie that stood out. And those of you since a lot of people like horror movies and stuff like that, I'm going to show you something. What happened? I want to show you this. Pop this up. When I was at the Ouija, messing with the Ouija board, I'm going to show you this image. It's going to scare the crap out you. This thing appeared back in 1989 at my house. And what happened was I messed with the Ouija board and this is what came up. You see this thing right here? This thing was in my living room. He was standing in my window. When I was at the image, let me get this off. Okay. Whew. That's kind of scary. That thing, the image from that was in the room, and this was broad daylight. And see, what happened was I was on it for 24 hours, and I could have got possessed or anything or lost my mind. But what happened was the next day, Bonnie opened up in that realm. God knew that I was into that realm of angels. And there's a certain part I disagree with. You have to watch what you watch. Because what happens is when it comes to what you see with your eyes, if you watch the movie like The Exorcist, there are spirits that go into your eye gate. And they go to your ear gate. You hear what I'm saying? So when you lay down, you might fall asleep. The images is right there. Those spirits are attacking you in the dream. So you don't want something attacking you in your dream. Some people, they can be scared to death in their dream. So I want to let you know this. Do not mess with something that's supernatural. A lot of kids come up missing. A lot of people end up being murdered. Spirits go out in the middle of the night and they get into people. And some people get demonically, probably get possession. And killers. This is true. You want to find the weirdest time of the year people come up missing? Halloween is one of them. But if you're a young person watching this video, listen, do not dabble with that. I don't care what your friends say. And say, come on, that stuff is real. No, it's real. It's no joke. You don't want nothing to take your mind or take your life. This is not you. Some people. I believe if came to her. She summoned it. Like I said, be aware of any images like this. Be aware. Be aware of anyone that dabbles and you see images like this. I just want to let you know. And I don't care when people say, oh, it means this, it means that. No. It's an idol. An idol carries spirits. And people who dabble in this stuff is committing idolatry. And the Bible said to the children of Israel, do not mess with things, the spirits.
That's how I got into when I was young. People just joke around and say, oh, it's no big deal, da 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 da.
And next thing you know, you start messing with something, and what happened, your whole atmosphere, the lights start cutting off and on, your TV start cutting off and on. You have brought something in your atmosphere. You have strange things go bump in the night. Don't do it. You might have mysterious accidents. They cause accidents. Car accidents. They don't care. This is the truth. That's why you want to dabble with something like this. Because because the devil and his army is to come to steal, kill, and destroy. And how they do it is they possess, and they need a willing vessel. They need a willing vessel. Don't be that willing vessel. So my name is James. This is a warning, people. Give your life to Yeshua, HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Because he's the only one that can get you out when you're dealing with something like this. He's the only one. If she would have called on it, if she would have turned her life to the one that died for our sins, covered the blood, Jesus' army would have showed up. The angels of Yah, Yeshua would have showed up and drove this thing right back in the pit of hell. But see one thing about these spirits, they're not allowed to cross. They have to be brought over. So she caused it to be brought over. So therefore you invade, because they can't just attack you unless you bring them over. I had a roommate that tried to do something like that one time. Try to cause something to cross over. Needless to say, he was spooked the next morning. I don't know if it was true, at the time, but in a way, when I think about it, I believe it. At the time, I probably thought he was nuts. He tried something and said, "Oh, I can pull up something." I said, "I don't want to know about it. I don't want you pulling up nothing." This was a guy. It was ex-roommate when I was away to college about 30 years ago. And so that night, I told him, I said, "Whatever you summon, you send it back." Oh, he just went, just joking around. You goofy dude. Oh, dude, send it back. And it was something that was, I felt some kind of presence. I know what it was. I told him, I said, send it back. I didn't ask you to send it. Well, let's say that night we went to sleep. He was petrified. He woke up the next day like he saw a ghost. What happened was, two angels came in the dream. And it was a Native American Indian woman.
The angels told him this. They said, next time this happened, we're not going to be there to protect you. Or you're going to be left to it. I don't know if he ever gave his life to God, to give his life to Christ, but he was spooked after that. He had all kind of bad things happen to him after that.